Have you ever announced what you thought was a small change for the organization, only to have your employees react as if the sky is falling? Or maybe you were on the receiving end of something new or different and found yourself feeling anxious, worried, stressed, unable to focus. Well, if so, you're not alone. There are several reasons for the way we react and respond to something new or different, a change. And one of those reasons is our tolerance for uncertainty. Uncertainty is challenging for everyone, although we all have a slightly different tolerance for us. And there are 4 predictable responses to uncertainty. I learned these from neuroscientist Dr. Sarah McKay. And what I discovered as I looked at these responses and how many times I had seen them play out in organizations is that understanding our response to uncertainty has a direct impact on our ability to engage with change and our ability as leaders to help people engage and move through the change process. When we begin to understand how people react and respond to uncertainty, we can react differently. We can put the conditions into place that allow to reduce that uncertainty and the stress that comes with it. So in this video, I want to share with you those 4 responses to uncertainty and what you can do when enabling change to mitigate the uncertainty and address those specific responses. Hello, I'm Dr. Dawn Marie Turner, President of Turner Change Management, creator of the Readiness Mindset. As a leadership coach and expert in organizational change, I work with leaders to help them navigate the complexities of change, to use practical science-based strategies to enable healthier, stronger organization with employees that can accept and embrace change as a normal part of their operation. When you announce a change in your organization, you've naturally created uncertainty. I've talked in previous videos about how you can reduce the level of uncertainty, but even with that, you're still creating a level of uncertainty. You're asking your team to do a lot. You're asking them to trust you, to lead the change, and that the organization can support and accomplish that desired outcome. You're also asking them to let go of what they know and to adopt new behaviors and activities. So it's natural for them to have a level of uncertainty. So let's talk about those 4 responses. One of the common responses, and probably one that I see the most often to uncertainty, is worry. Neuroscientist Norman Dodge states that it's normal for us to worry and have worrisome thoughts. And most of us are very good at it. And we're very good at it because worry is linked to our unique and natural ability as human beings to hypothesize, to create what-if scenarios as we attempt to predict what might or could happen. And that ability to hypothesize can and has led to breakthroughs, innovation, and increasing our knowledge. It's a very important piece of our human DNA and capabilities. Although worry is a form of hypothesizing, worry is different, and it can be a little bit sneaky. Worry, instead of leading to innovation and breakthroughs, can leave us feeling anxious, unable to act, and fearful of what will happen. Have you ever been stuck in a worry loop? I confess that I have. And in a worry loop, our what if scenarios are almost always about the negative consequences, about what could happen. For example, one employee, when a merger was announced in her organization, talked about how she was worried about her new role and whether or not she would have the skills. And how would she get along with the new manager? And what about her childcare if her hours changed? And what if the merger wasn't successful? And what if she couldn't take on this new role? Now, these were all important questions and needed to be addressed during the change process. But because she was in a worry loop, answering her questions didn't reduce her anxiety. That's how worry kind of tricks us, because we think we're problem solving when in reality we're problem spinning. So our built-in negativity bias is one reason worry is not an effective tool in dealing with uncertainty. We all have a built-in negativity bias, and it's in the driver's seat when we are creating those what-if scenarios when we are in that worry state. Therefore, what are we doing? We're usually focused only on the negative aspects of the situation. All of those what-if scenarios are about what if and what could go wrong. It's not easy to break free of a worry loop. Simply telling yourself or your team, don't worry, or anyone not to worry, is like telling someone not to breathe. It's just not very helpful. Instead, pause. Acknowledge the fear and the uncertainty, and then focus on the present moment. Often when we're in the worry loop, we feel very much out of control. And what we're looking to do in that instant is try and regain control. One of the exercises we teach to participants in our Stress Management for Change course is to refocus on that present moment. Identify what they can control. Once they recognize what they can control, and they usually can identify at least one action, they're able to break free of that cycle of worry and begin to take some action towards reducing their uncertainty. And you can help your employees by doing the same thing. Another response to uncertainty is information seeking. Research exploring our reactions to uncertainty during change found that when we feel uncertain, we seek out information to fill the void, to reduce the uncertainty. And we will take that information from whatever available sources. And I experienced this in the first few weeks of the pandemic, when I found myself glued to news feeds and every conversation was about COVID. However, that volume of information didn't really help. The volume of information, the constant flow of that information, along with all the speculation and opinion, caused my stress level to go up and my sense of uncertainty to go up instead of down. And the same thing can happen during organizational change. The people affected seek out information. If there's not enough coming from reliable sources in a consumable format, in an active conversational format, or it's coming too slowly, or it's in that wrong format, it's a bombardment of email after email, then they can feel overwhelmed with information, underinformed, and that will cause their uncertainty to rise. And they will begin to seek that information from any source, regardless of its reliability or accuracy, which then continues the cycle of increasing the stress and the level of uncertainty. Creating a network of people throughout the organization who can actively communicate will help. It enables people to tap into and receive timely, accurate, helpful information from reliable sources. In today's environment, it's almost impossible to rely solely on cascading information through formal channels. There's just too many ways for people to get information. That's why designing and creating a network for communication enables you to tap into the natural order and create a healthy grapevine to support you in your change efforts. I talk more about the risks of an information void and on creating a healthy grapevine, preventing misinformation from sabotaging your change efforts in my 2-part series on managing misinformation and preventing rumors. I'll put the links in the discussion down below. And that's what I did to reduce my uncertainty and stress during the pandemic. I created my own communication network. Initially, I turned off all my news feeds. Then I created a curated communication network that would keep me informed, avoided the speculation and the rumor and the innuendo, and provided helpful information from reliable and accurate sources. I could tap into this as it was needed. A third response to uncertainty is hypervigilant. Hypervigilant state is a state of being on high alert. And in that state, you're more sensitive to the environment and to the people around you. There are degrees of hypervigilance. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about the level that needs professional help. What I want to talk about is what I've seen within the context of organizational change. And I have seen levels of hypervigilance demonstrated in large and small changes and all kinds of organizations. And one of the things that I've heard when it occurs is leaders labeling people as sensitive or too sensitive. It's true. When we are in a state of hypervigilant, we are more sensitive. When we are hypervigilant, we have that heightened sensitivity and awareness of the nonverbal, verbal, and environmental cues. We're watching for subtle shifts and changes in our environment. To our brain, hypervigilance is a way of keeping us safe. It's a primary survival mechanism. It's what keeps you alert when you're in an unfamiliar environment. Dr. Sarah McKay notes that hypervigilance can be exhausting and cause us to create threats where there aren't any. And I've seen that happen with organizational change. Because we are more attuned to the subtle changes, and if there's not enough information or we're not actively involved, then we can connect dots that were never meant to be connected. And as a result, we make assumptions and draw conclusions that can heighten our stress response. So what can you do? The first step in dealing with hypervigilance is to stop labeling people as too sensitive and acknowledge it as part of the normal reaction to change and uncertainty. Develop your skills, comfort, and confidence to navigate that emotional aspect of change. I did a video about navigating the emotions during change, and I'll put the link below. Balancing what's not changing with what is changing will also help give stability during the change process. And a clearly defined intended outcome story and active involvement in creating the plan needed to achieve that outcome story also helps. The fourth response to uncertainty is searching for reassurance. Everyone needs reassurance at some point, especially during change. It may be the reassurance that they have the skills and the capability to adopt those new activities and behaviors. Or it may be the reassurance about new roles and responsibilities, or what the change means for them, an understanding of why it's needed, where they're going, and how it will affect other areas of their life. Some people are better at reassuring themselves, and they approach events from an everything always works out mentality. Others are more externally focused and need more external reassurance. They ask more questions, or they ask the same questions multiple times to different people, looking to get and ensure they get the same answer. I saw this play out early in my career when I was working with an internal change management team. One of the change managers needed regular reassurance. She was new to the role and would ask the same question in multiple different ways. And she listened carefully. If my response appeared to be different, she would remind me of what I had said previously. Initially, I found this really frustrating, but once I recognized she needed to hear it, I was able to respond with empathy and ensure that I used similar language each time I responded to her and provided her the reassurance. And over time, she gained the confidence to really excel at the role that she was placed in. It's also easy when we want to reassure people to try and put a positive spin on the issue. Yes, helping people see the benefits is helpful, but too much can lead to toxic positivity. The reassurance needs to be honest, not making promises that you can't keep, providing context and helping people see how things fit together so that they can see how short-term activities fit with long-term goals, with strategy, and where they fit within the context of the changes that are going on in the organization. Managing uncertainty isn't easy, but over time and with a readiness mindset, you can help your employees increase their tolerance for uncertainty, which will decrease their stress and allow them to embrace and move through change with less discomfort and greater ease, thus allowing you, your employees, and your organization to thrive in the midst of constant change. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.